Welcome to episode 2 of the Paindane Kayak Fishing Species Challenge. Today we touch on a little bit more about the event, how it's going to work, how we're going to get there, what you're going to do when you get there, and of course our guest today is Mr. Jamie Wardell from the UKFC, Paindane Kayak Fishing Club. We'll touch on why you're here too, other than the fact that he can't come, but that's not our problem, that's his problem. I mean the UKFC came on board with a novel idea of, because it's a species challenge, because there's competition so much about species and there's so much to learn, it's about giving back to not only to our members but to the kayak fishing anglers out there. So the novel idea of the SACFA challenge, which is also the SACFA Grand Slam, should I say, was started a few years ago. That's taught people how to fish for species, am I right?
Massively, and I think it's changed the way the guys fish. They don't go just fish for snook. If they've got a big snook and the guys are only catching small snook, the guys will give that a break and go try to get that elusive garrick that's not being able to be caught this year, or that queenfish, and it brings
push the boundaries.
Yeah, push the boundaries, and I think it also adds a more sort of ethical element to fishing, where guys aren't just targeting one species. They're getting out there and learning to target new species. Like a lot of guys have caught queenfish for the first time.
Correct.
In their lives in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I think touching on that, we maybe had the Paindane competition right in the beginning for the first 7 or 8 years that we had it. That's the only place we could catch the species that we did. Because they would often be a bycatch of your basic fishing methods, let me say. The Grand Slam has thrown that curveball. It's asked guys questions, asked them to learn about different species. They can take that knowledge to an event like this and obviously catapult themselves even further, you know, and learn. And like, even if they're not learning for this year, what they'll learn in this comp for the Grand Slam going forward is massive. You're going to be able to go to places and target a fish. I've said that I honestly believe there's going to be guys who go to this thing, probably not even in the top 10 of the Grand Slam, but they'll walk away from this comp going, I could have won it if I'd applied myself bass fishing or applied myself garrick fishing, and that's what we want, you know. And I think, we've got to get out there and also an event where the guys will share their species knowledge, maybe not be so stuck on their ways and not communicating. I mean, the social vibe that we have every night in the bar, the awards that we give away, like the Dick of the Day trophy, and you know, that kind of thing for the day. The guys laugh about it. They share information. You learn what so and so did at 6 in the morning, or where so and so went in the afternoon. You know. And it also comes down to a thing of guys not just comparing, oh, I've got the biggest catch, whereas it used to be I've got the biggest tuna or the biggest coot or whatever. Guys would go, well, and what other fish have you caught this year throughout Durban? And I think when I got into kayak fishing and went up to Millie for the first time, and you see someone like Scott in action there, and then it pushes along the guys like Cam and Jono. And I mean, I think Cam will even say if it wasn't for those Millie trips learning, he wouldn't, on the boat competition in Gudata, it would have made it. He learned so much from that he could apply it to there. That helped him with that win and stuff. So it's always a learning curve, and I think these sort of trips accelerate that. Beyond what you can do in just your normal day-to-day fishing. Yeah, and I think that's another reason why we talk about the UKFC club, and that was back in the day when we formed the club and we first started it, we wanted to share knowledge. Maybe lost in translation over the years. Some of us get a little bit of mis ideas about clubs and what they're about, but the club is still predominantly, that's what it's there for. Share the knowledge, try and upskill guys, educate guys. You know, you also, let's be honest, you can't walk into a club and go and stand in there in a meeting or stand on the first WhatsApp message and say, what'd you catch at and how? Like, come on guys, there's a fisherman. You know, but it's create a friendship, and if you're in the vibe where you create friendships and you create bonds with guys and groups, yes, the guys will share the knowledge. I know that's for sure. Maybe off the bat you don't get, like from the outside you might not see it, but it's there. And I think that's why this event, I'm excited for this event, is because the club has grown so much, the knowledge that we've done has grown so much. You know, we had some great representation from UKFC in the SACFA Grand Slam last year. You know, so much so that we had, I think last year for the first angler for UKFC was Tyron Bird, am I right? what the club has done is basically given Tyron a free entry to the comp.
Yeah.
He earned it through proving that he loves species fishing. He's going to apply himself. He can go there, learn even more.
I think the only downside is that with the knowledge that he'll gain, that he'll come back, everyone's on a hiding to nothing going forward.
Yeah, but that's what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, we want other guys to feel like these are the kind of events or places that'll take you a little bit further.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, if you go mountain biking, you go down the small hill, and you do it 10 times in a day, and Mr. Decker comes down the big hill, look, Mom, no hands. Like, if you want to be like Decker, you must go down the big hill, you know? And that's it. You got to do that. I mean, you can't sit back and go, well, I wish I knew how to do that, or how do I do that? It's like, you got to get an opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then I think then the next thing what we'll touch on is we decided, when I say you offered to give up a lucky draw to anyone who can travel to the event, which is giving back to the club members once again. You know, the guys that are making an effort, as I say, the club's always been there to give back as well. We obviously realise there's a lot of logistics involved and a lot of costs involved in an event like this. But if someone wants to make themselves available, they've managed to slip themselves into a draw.
Yep.
And then from that
draw,
draw,
a challenge for some guys to get themselves.
Yeah, but we know who those guys are because they don't know really.
Yeah.
We won't touch on that.
They're technology.
They're
young, but they
can catch fish, but they can't do technology. Is that what you're saying?
And they're young, so they shouldn't be that bad at technology. But anyway.
Does the guy's name begin with a C?
It does.
Okay, we can't
It's
even
a
mind.
4-letter word.
No, it's 3 letters. Okay, cool. So what are you going to do? A random draw there. We have a list here of the guys who entered.
Okay, so I'm going to hit generate.
Randomizer.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Matthew Stricker.
Matt Stricker. When's
Matt
the
Stricker.
entry for?
So
Entry
so
for
Matt
Paindane.
Stricker, you'll know about this will be when you watch the movie. So you've just won yourself a free entry to the comp, which obviously Jamie will sort out with me. We'll add you to the WhatsApp group. We'll add you to all the info that's going out, and we look forward to having you on board and joining us. Congratulations.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well done, Matt. I think he's a newer guy that's got into kayaks fishing, so his acceleration of learning will be great. He's very, very, very keen and keen to learn, and he's been attending all the socials since he's been a member, which like you say is a massive part of getting that information.
Yeah.
A case in point of that is a guy like Storm Dalton, who was new to kayak fishing a few years ago. He attended every single social, drank the Umhlanga Ski Boat Club out of brandy, but he was listening to people, storing that information, and he got up into the top 6 or 7 in the UKFC Grand Slam that first year that he was kayak fishing, just from being around, learning, and taking what he was taught and applying it.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing. Is not taking it and going, well, I can do it better maybe, and reinventing the real.
Yeah, and I mean, what I'm pretty stoked about is that the whole concept of UKFC giving back is letting the guys join in an event like this, and obviously making it a little bit more accessible for some of the guys. And it'll be fun. It's going to be fun. I think there's going to be a nice little shake-up in the Grand Slam, the UKFC Grand Slam top 10. Maybe even I'll make the top 10.
No, the rules are they don't count. They don't count. The fish in Paindane don't count because I can't go.
The chairman made a call, but we will just scrub that rule from there. Of course it'll count. We'll send you lots of pics. Love us.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, while you're here, you're not going to finish, but I mean, we'll run through, like I said, a little bit about how we get there. There's been questions about how do we get to Paindane, other than by car, of course. So we will be traveling up over a period of time. It depends on what day you get there, but once you've registered for the event, your accommodation starts on the Saturday night and finishes on the Saturday, so you basically can check out on the Sunday. The idea on the Saturday night is because people drive throughout the day or whatever, you arrive, whatever, you'll obviously have to look after your own meals because no one knows what time people are going to arrive. Come Sunday, there'll be a lot of oaks doing some pre-fishing and maybe testing and seeing what's going on, but then from Sunday afternoon, we will have a pre-comp party, okay? We'll be testing out the local rum, testing out the local beer, and of course, a little bit about the comp, going through the rules, any questions, a little bit of registration stuff, the important stuff for the event. And don't fear if you drink too much rum, you're safe. Because Monday morning is no-go fishing. Monday, the comp only starts at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock in the morning. That means between 9 and 10 we will all gather on the beach. You're only allowed to launch and beach at the Paindane, so you can't go and sneak off to your secret spot there. It entails a photo, all of us on the beach, a little bit of camaraderie, get together, high fives, videos of the guys launching through the bay together. It's just something we've always done, and it creates a little bit of a vibe on the beach. And of course, it also creates a vibe fishing at Paindane only. And then the comp will obviously open up for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the Friday. Normal fishing. Friday we'll finish a little bit earlier because it's the last day of the comp. And what made a lot of guys worry is they say the comp's 5 days. I mean, why are you laughing? I mean, I don't think I can paddle for 5 days anymore.
No, and it's why Scott wears the gloves, because his hands are still
No, he just wears the gloves because he's a wussy. Yeah, no.
Because his hands are still recovering.
So we did a little bit of a tweak. Obviously, we're still refining the rules, but the nice thing about it is not every single session or every single day counts to your results. It's a weather thing. I suppose like trial and error sort of thing like they do in surfing, where you only call days on the great weather. We're saying no. If you're brave enough and you want to, and obviously unless the conditions are so bad that we call the day off, and you want to fish, you can fish, but you can only count a certain number of sessions towards your results. So that the days are broken into sessions. Like for example, Monday is only one session because we're launching at 10, but on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday there'll be 2 sessions, Friday 1 session. Either 5 or 6 sessions only will count to your results, which will throw a curveball too. Scott could be leading, but then he has to delete 1 session because he's caught an important species.
So you can count. You can fish every single session and say.
Yes, you can. You can pick your species. You can pick your
ones.
Yeah, correct. Okay. And of course, you gain your species over every day. You don't restart every single day. So if you catch a GT on day 1, that's for the week.
Yeah.
Okay. If you catch a kuta, you've got one for the week. Now you can start targeting other fish. You can upgrade. Okay. Which will be great. So you can still keep targeting to get bigger and bigger if you want to. Traditionally in this comp, the only fish you're allowed to weigh are the fish that have teeth. If you know what I mean when I say fish, your kuta, your wahoo, those sort of fish. Obviously no sailfish and billfish, those have to be released. All your kingfish species are released. Your bonitos are released. Your tuna, you can release the smaller ones. If you get a tuna over a certain size, you can weigh it. And that's what we do. Obviously then there's greater barrier chutneys, which you can keep if you want to, but no one wants to keep that thing. It's very smelly and stinky. Prodigal sons, those rainbow runners, queenies, those are your other species, but like a queenfish will have to be released.
Yeah.
Your prodigal you can keep. Your rainbow runner we prefer to release. It's not something you're gonna go and eat. What we do with the fish that we do keep, that gets donated to the locals. So as part of the comp, you can't come and say, well, I'm keeping my fish. Sorry guys, the fish is for the locals. It's giving us free reign of the reef by employing and giving the guys who work there the fish we catch and the use of the water without. That's what they do for a living, let's be honest. They fish when the weather's good, and that's how they survive. So we're going to donate them fish, we're going to give them a job, we're going to give back to the community. And it's a big part of what we want to do, is be seen to be giving, not just taking. That's like when it comes to the weigh and things side of it. Just off the top of my head, thinking about a few other things. But yeah, then we go backwards to video footage, cameras, measuring, simple stuff we'll go through in the rules. But if you
go the sticker route again.
Yeah, we're going to go a sticker route, but then obviously you need to have a camera, whether you want to take your cell phone out of a pouch every month or you want to run a GoPro. That's important because obviously your catch is relative to the footage that we can see.
Yeah.
If you donate your GoPro to the reef, well,
not
we
advisable
can't.
To use as a fish
then we're not
finder.
like Jasper when the 1 year Jasper Ponce didn't have a camera and he caught a sailfish. Did you know about this?
And he paddled it to someone.
No. He didn't have a camera to record a sailfish, so he got his side cutters and he cut the tip of the bill off, this much of the bill, off the sailfish. And he comes and he goes, guys, my camera didn't work, but I got a sailfish. You go, yeah, right. Yeah, I got a sailfish. He goes, no, look, and he shows us the tip of the bull. No, it didn't count. The rules are the rules, but we gave him 10 points for innovation.
And that would count as a maimed fish.
Yeah, exactly, maimed, destroyed. Yeah, so yeah, and then as far as the evenings go, obviously dinners are covered throughout the whole week. You know, you get your dinner. When it comes to brunches and breakfasts, because of the way we've mashed the event together with the sessions and stuff like that, we leave the brunches and the breakfasts up to you. You cook your own breakfast if you want, or you can order from the beach bar the day before what you want for brunch between a certain time. So you just say to the ladies, I want egg and chips tomorrow between 10 and 11 if you want, and you can pre-order it. So it's not like you don't get it. That's not included in the entrance fee, but you have the ability to. We'll look after the meals. We look after certain drinks in the first night, then the last night, which is the final party. Obviously that as well. And I think that's the basics of how the event runs together. The traveling there as a long drive, it's probably closer between 14 and 15 or maybe 16 hours, depending on how you get there.
Yeah.
What we intend on doing is we're going to drive through the Ponta border post now, which we never had this option in the past, but we're going to drive through Ponta, probably stay at Ponta de Oro, Ponta Malangana or something like that for the night, because now we're in Mozambique, so we don't have to cross the border post, we don't have to cross passport things, so we can literally leave at, let's say, 1 o'clock in the afternoon the day before, just to go and sleep. And we'll leave that Ponta area where we're staying 3 o'clock in the morning, and we'll make sure that we get to Ganjata. From there we'll probably be there 11, 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Obviously what that does is it cuts out a lot of the traffic in the Maputo area and those places where in the past, you'd get to Maputo and sometimes take an hour and a half to get through Maputo. So yeah.
Just on the side, I don't know if it's been covered before, where previous trips to Millie and Teco, we had to stop at Ponta to get the licenses.
Yeah, so the licenses you get at the event. There's a federale, he comes with his book.
Okay.
We've submitted everyone's passport numbers, their details, all that.
Okay.
He comes on the registration the last night, the opening night registration party, and everyone gets issued their fishing license, which we do through him. Also, once again, that's your own cost, because if you want to make it for a month, you can make it for a month. If you want to make it for a week, you can make it for a week. But yeah, it's done there and then. We do have the guys from Prime Zulu, Tarek, on board as safety boat. So he'll be coming, taking photos, keeping the guys safe on the water, and a few other things that we'll be doing with him. So yeah, that'll be interesting and that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, we've tried to cover as much as we can. For the guys going to the comp, we want it to be effortless.
Yeah.
We've got gillies to carry boats, to wash your skis. Everyone will meet the gillies before the comp. They'll realize who they are. You can employ the locals will wash your tackle. We'll do everything for you, so that you can just enjoy your fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference, is that you can go to Mozambique on your own, and it becomes a bit of a hack to try and work it out and try and get as much fishing in as possible, even if you go with a group of mates.
Yeah.
But you go on one of these trips, compared to when the Millie and the Teco trips, and you're going there to fish.
Yeah.
You fish, and you come off and you fish, and you basically fish as much as your body can handle.
Exactly.
And that's the key. And I know I'm sure Scott will broach the subjects and some of the things he's talked about before, of that maintenance of your body and particularly your hands, because your hands getting so wet all the time.
Tying knots.
And the cuts from the various fish spikes and stuff. It's making sure that those hands stay in good, clean and surgical spirits and stuff like that are
we actually have a medical safety officer as one of the entrants. We do, no, legitimately do. It's part of, I think in Mozambique you have to have a qualified first aid guy and everything. So he's chief lifeguard here at Westbrook.
Okay.
And he's our first aid medical man.
Okay.
So he'll be coming with as well. Hopefully we don't need to use him, but we will have him there in case. So yeah, we've tried to cover as much as we can to make the event hassle-free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and I think that's the most important thing for today. When we move on to the next episode, we'll be bringing our good friend Mr. Scott Hunter on board. So what we'll do is maybe what Cam and I talked about, we'll try and squeeze some of his fish finder knowledge out of him, you know, maybe bang it a little bit harder and shake it up, but we'll get some of his knowledge on looking at different fish, recognizing different fish on your finder or types of fish. Let's not say exactly what they are, but you know, understanding the areas where we're fishing, more so than the tactics. And everybody's got their own tactics, you know. We'll use, maybe Cam can share his tactics, we'll use Brad's knowledge on his tactics. He still fishes there on a boat occasionally. And we'll touch on that later on further down the road episodes, but now we're stoked to have UKFC sponsoring us, thank you. Well, should I say sponsoring some guys to join us. And I look forward to having the boys on board.
Guys will get a lot of benefit out of it besides the enjoyment of the trip in terms of their fishing and their fishing capabilities. I think that's going to be the biggest jump for the guys. And then, I mean, those guys, the two guys that have won the prizes are Matt starting out in Tyrone is very, as you say, very helpful with sharing the knowledge.
As long as he ties his ski on the car when he comes. Because he's not well known to tie things on. He generally drives home and finds his skis not in his car. So
he left it on the side of the freeway somewhere.
Yeah. So hopefully he ties it on.
The people that he's traveling with.
There actually are rumours, I don't know how true this is, that he might be traveling with Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Can you imagine the disaster?
I know. I was going to say that, but then I thought maybe his travel companions can help him out. And then sure, but they're not much better.
Yeah, they're definitely not much better. If you sleep in a tent in Paindane, no one does, but if you chose to, you got to watch out for Cameron, because his partner in crime likes to cable tie your tent closed. We won't go into more detail, but I've woken up at Millie before and not been able to get out of my tent. You go zip, zip, and nothing works, you know? And Cam and Jono are laughing in their tent. So there are some pranksters as well. Cool. Thanks for sharing. Well, should I say thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hope you got a little bit more knowledge on the event and what it does. Like we've touched on before. In closing, it's probably one of the most user-friendly places you can go and learn to fish for species. And it's safe launching, safe beaching, just a great event and a great place to go.
And the safety of a whole big group of people.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Here we go. So we're sitting here and someone arrives, Cameron Sim arrives. Sorry, we will be looking there. So we're sitting here and Cam arrives to drop his ski off for the comp. I'd say about 5 weeks before the comp, you nervous? Are you?
Well, I know the competition that I've got coming up, so I don't want to leave everything to the last minute. So I'm going to try to be ahead of the game for a change and see if it makes a difference.
It's a definite change for a change. So he's coming prepared, which we like to. But as we say in Afrikaans, what is this thing? Huh? It's a doos. Cam's a doos. We're only kidding. No, but seriously. So it's going to be fun. We will get you on the show just before we leave, so you can reveal all your secrets. Okay.
Definitely.
Because you need to do some homework and tell the guys where you're going to be fishing, what time you're going to be fishing.
As I told all the guys in the previous comp, Brad Roth included. All I did was rafties, boys. That's it.
You just pulled rafties, eh? Okay, I don't inside information. That's not true. I was on your personal fishing group there while you're fishing in the boat.
That's right. You did give me a couple of tips and pointers there.
And that did pay off.
Did pay off.
Good. Yeah. So we look forward to it. But we're gonna have some fun in Paindane, I suppose.
Definitely. Just hope the weather is.
Is your partner in crime coming with?
He says he's coming now, Mr. Rose. So the dream team will be there.
The dream team. That's great.
But now we're also going to be competition against one another.
Another one? Oh yeah, that's weird. It's individuals here.
It's individuals here. There's no connection stories here.
No connection stories. Just war stories.
War stories. So during the day we'll be enemies and at night we'll be friends.
on the water enemies,
exactly.
Off the water friends. Yeah. Good. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that old Baldy couldn't come with us.
Exactly. Oh, there he is. There he is there.
Yeah, I know. What's his name? Mr. Wardell.
Yes. Yeah. He's a bit nervous though, because he knows listen the caliber of guys going. He thought, let me stay out of this one.
He's realised he's out of his depth.
He's out of his depth. Yeah, yes, 100%.
But we look forward to catching up with you just before we leave for the comp. So
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to my first time
your new finder will be fitted. You can share your marks, share the information.
I'm going to be putting on a good couple of marks, about 5. That's all
and I mean, I got one simple question for you. Really, is like if anyone that you know hasn't been there, is it a special place?
it's definitely a place. If you've been to like Mili or Teco Benini where we went, it's all fun, or Ponta, it's all great. But this place is, you can't.
Yeah.
This is an amazing place. Take a lot of tackle with you. We lost over 50 jigs in the 5 days we were there. There's a lot of graters that come and tax your car cop and your bludgers when you're getting them, like in the north. Well, we were, on my experience, the graters come and tax you, so you lose there. The kuta are in an abundance that you've never
If you're in the right
experienced.
place.
In the right place, but off Paindane, off Gunjata,
Yeah.
off Coconut, and the Go-Go, you drop that jig down and all of a sudden it stops going down and you've been bitten off. Insane. And we landed a lot of kuta on the drop shot, on the bucktails, on
Yeah.
the jig. So a tip of advice,
Yeah,
and what
and-
you actually gave me, was do not go there and fish for kuta.
Yes,
You
100%.
will catch a kuta doing everything you're not supposed to be doing for kuta.
And if you try and fish for kuta, you actually
You're
don't
not
catch
gonna
them.
one. Exactly.
It's the weirdest thing, but it happens.
So
Yeah.
it is an amazing place. Species-wise, look, there's more species than you know what to do with there.
Yeah.
On majority of the reefs.
Yeah, I like you say, like I've tried to touch on it before. There are places there where you can target a species, which is also nice, you know.
But while
I don't think you can
targeting
go to Mshloti or you can go to Westbrook or you can go and say, well, there's a good chance I'm going to catch this today, so I'm going to fish like that.
Yes.
You know, obviously other than what we used to, you know, the kuta or the snook or the tuna, but you know, the other species, you know. And there are places where if you've understood over the years and if you watch the videos and that, you'll say, you know, that's where you can target that if you fish with the right tactics. I think that's the thing too, is you got to adapt as well. A lot of the guys won't adapt. You got to adapt the whole time. You got to think.
We're not fishing on Mshloti anymore, where you put your 2 mackerel at the back in a down rig and you paddle around for 6 hours. That's not what we're doing
No,
here.
no,
You
it's
can
not.
do that and you will catch fish.
Yes.
But take your Tupperware party with you, because you're going to need a lot of
The
different.
Tupperware party.
You're going to need a lot of different tackle with you. You're going to pop. You're going to drop shot jig. You're going to put dead bait. You're going to pull up daisy chains.
Yep.
Your live bait tracers.
Yep.
He's going to
Slow pitch jigs.
Slow pitch jigs. I won't touch on that.
Drop shots.
Drop shot. What I use
Yeah.
is drop shots.
Yeah.
I don't use bucktails.
Why not?
I just don't think you need them.
Yeah.
For me, I just use squids, iron candies, and drop shots.
Yeah.
If I can't catch a fish on those 3, then I'm fishing in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And then I do my dead baits.
Yeah.
I do my rockies. I do my bird, depending on the wind, with a Jap Mac or a red eye out. And my daisy chains.
There
And
you go.
that's basically, that's
it.
what I have in my box. That's what I've got in my
So we'll touch a little bit more on it later on, like I said when we met you again. A little bit in depth
Yes.
of your, you say, ideal tactics.
Deal.
But you got to understand one thing about this place, and is you can have a plan,
and
nothing works.
like in my experience.
And you can and you can go back 2 weeks later, and the plan every day just clicks. I think it's about adapting. I mean, I've seen guys, and I've seen really good fishermen go there with a plan, and fall very short because they don't adapt. And then there's someone around them, the guys are adapting and changing, and they go like, and they don't catch as many fish as they want to. So you just got to be thinking.
Yeah, you've got to look
A
at
thinking fisherman does well.
That's it. You've got to
Yeah.
look at, obviously, tide, especially if you're fishing up
Yeah.
and down. You've got to look at wind. And
Yeah.
I think what's interesting for me is you're going to be on a kayak now, so it changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm only used to now being on a boat. So now you have to be on a kayak, you're going to paddle, you've got wind, you've got current. And then you've got the depth also
Yeah.
when you go for the other different types of species. And working a Ventos or a 6-ounce squiddy for half an hour, you're going to be broken.
And you still got to paddle back.
You just got to paddle back.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be tough guys that are going to be there. But there's going to be a lot of guys you're going to learn from.
Yeah.
And myself, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions while I'm there.
Good.
Especially to guys like Brett and Marcus and the Prince and Scott.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, hopefully, they'll be honest about it.
No, I think we all will.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is the first time for me also.
exactly. I just think it's the first time for everybody except for maybe a handful of us who went 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And went every year for 7 years, sometimes twice a year. But fishing has changed so much since then.
Technology.
Like I was saying, touching on the last video, I fished, and I'm not joking, I've probably fished on a kayak 3 times a year for 7 years in a row, you know? And it would be for a week at least. I've fished a lot there. But the advancement of fishing ended for us, squid jigs and drop shot. No one was popping then. No one was live bait fishing. No one was throwing a slow pitch jig. Some guys were fishing with bucktails. And obviously a lot of the other things that we've learned, all new because the fishing's advanced. So I'm saying a lot of it's new too. And I'm excited, like I am excited to fish the areas that we know and what we've learned in the last 10 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think what's also very important, what the guys must also learn to read is their fish finders.
Yes.
Because you're going to see a lot of different showings there, and,
Yep.
and they're going to be all at different depths, and it's good if you can try in the first few days work out which fish are sitting at what depth. For example.
Yeah, I think we'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll definitely touch on that with, maybe we'll rope Scott into that a little bit because
Scott gave
he
me a
comes
lot
from
of
an instrument and technical background.
Exactly.
That's what Scotty did. He ran, an instrument company before where he's working now.
Yeah.
So he's technically very well-minded, and that's why I joke and say he's got every coordinate in the world, because he'll spend hours and hours and hours plotting and planning and marking and looking at depths and looking at things. So we definitely draw on his knowledge on that and the way you see different fish on your finder. But it will do no harm also to watch YouTube videos. There's so much information. It's also, like we're touching on it, there's so much information out there. Like when we fished Paindane 10 years ago, there was no YouTube, but it was called Puzzle Tube. You and your mate would sit and puzzle, and we would. I mean, Brad Arthur and I, when we used to fish there, we used to have completely opposite tactics, because we would fish for 3 days before the comp, and I wasn't allowed to fish with what he was allowed to fish with. So we would tell each other everything on purpose, and then we'd sit in the bar and have a beer, and we'd go, right, this worked, this didn't work, I tried this, I tried. When the comp start, we only fished what we worked. So we used each other because you couldn't tap into the knowledge that there wasn't much knowledge. So
I mean, if you take oaks without all the technology, like the first time I came to meet you and you guys, I had no GPS. I just had a black and white fish finder, and you paddle out into the ocean and you're just watching the fish finder. You see something, you fish it.
Yeah.
And I think Paindane's got a lot more reef than what Mealy and all that does. So
yes.
You don't need, if you're going there just for fishing and for camaraderie and not to actually compete to come first, and you don't have a GPS, it's fine. It's not an issue.
Well, that's one of the better places to learn.
To learn, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
So that's why we do it. I mean, it's one of those places where you can learn so much. So you don't have to go there with it, say, I'm going to go there and win the comp. You can actually go there and say, like, I'm going to learn in a week there what it'll take me 20 years to learn fishing off Durban.
100%.
And that's 100% the truth. I can tell you that from personal experience. I learned in my first 2 trips to Paindane and Gonjata, I learned so much about fishing for the 2 or 3 weeks that I was there that I would never have learned off Durban. Because Durban, I go and do the same thing, it works. If it doesn't work, the fish aren't there.
But you know what I really enjoyed about Paindane and Gonjata was, like, you fish in Durban, you get so accustomed to, I must be the first out there when the sun crests and all that. Yeah, time of day means nothing. You can go and start jigging at 10 o'clock in the morning and absolutely drill the fish. And if you want to start fishing with kudu at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the kudu will be there. It's an amazing place, eh?
Yeah.
It really is.
It is. Yeah, you will get different fish early in the morning versus other fish in the afternoon. We've definitely noticed those patterns over the years. So to certain degrees, depending on what you're targeting, you're 100% correct, and you've got an abundance of different species.
So even if you want to wake up a bit late on a few mornings,
100%.
it's okay.
100%.
It's not a problem.
You probably will wake up a bit late in a few mornings.
Probably after a few nights with you guys, and then that'll give Scott an opportunity to catch up again.
Oh yes, okay, good.
So I've got to give Oaks a chance, you know what I mean?
I like your honesty.